Hello everyone, Jennifer Maker here. It is a beautiful day to make something amazing together. Christmas is just around the corner, and every year I design and make a new advent calendar, a countdown to Christmas. I've made Christmas trees with little drawers for gifts and goodies, paper villages with a door for every day, and even ornament stands so you can put a new ornament on a tree. And this year is no different. Our annual advent calendar design this year is a hanging Christmas tree with 25 felt ornaments to decorate each day in December. So come with me and we will make it together. Now you might take one look at this project and think to yourself, there's no way I can make that. But I promise it's really not as hard as it looks. And we are going to do it together. I'm going to break it all down into super easy steps, and all you need to do is follow along with me. And before you know it, you will have a beautiful finished tree to count down to Christmas that you can use to decorate your home or give it as a gift to a loved one or a friend. And trust me, they are going to love it. And be sure to stick around to the end because I am going to show you one special ornament that I save to put on last. So let's take a look at what we're going to need to make this project. I've got everything out right now. The first thing you need, this shouldn't surprise you, is felt. Felt, and more felt. Yes, we need a lot of felt for this project between the tree and the ornaments. You can make your tree just like mine, or you can pick your own colors to match your decor. Be creative and have fun with this. I'm using felt in 8.5 by 11-inch sheets, but you can use larger sheets. Embossed felt, if you can cut it, you can use it. We will also need a wooden dowel, which I have just like this one, and some ribbon to hold it up. We'll also want some hot glue to keep it all together, and I'm using hook and loop dots to keep the ornaments on the tree. And I'm also going to use smart vinyl iron-on to add some personalization under the tree, like this one. This is optional, but if you do add it, you're going to want to have an easy press or a household iron. Feel free to change that to anything you like or nothing at all. Other items we'll need include freezer paper, a lint roller, a hacksaw so that you can cut down your wooden dowel, and of course we need our Cricut cutting machine. So for this project, I'm going to demonstrate doing it on the Maker 3 and the Explorer 3 because you can use both to make this project. You can also use the original Maker and the Explorer series if that's what you have. Now you'll also want your cutting mats, some scissors, a weeding tool, and a brayer. So let me show you where to find the free pattern, and then I'll show you how to cut felt on your cutting machine and put it all together. Step 1. Get my free Christmas tree advent design. All right, so start off by getting my felt advent Christmas tree designs from my free resource library. So go to jennifermaker.com/342, and then in the red bar at the top, look for libraries and either click get a password if you don't yet have one, or click enter the library. You can find the pattern by searching the page for design number 342 and then click it to download a zip file that contains SVG cut files for cutting with a Cricut or another cutting machine, a DXF file, and a printable PDF for cutting by hand. Let me show you how to cut these designs on a Cricut cutting machine. First, upload the SVG cut file to Cricut Design Space. If you're unsure how to unzip and upload SVG files, please visit jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how. I will be using both the Cricut Maker 3 and the Explorer 3 for this tutorial, but you can use any Maker or Explorer. They all work. All right, so once uploaded, you'll want to zoom out by clicking on the minus sign next to the magnifying glass on the bottom left. I zoomed out to 25% to see the whole design. This is what everything looks like in Cricut Design Space. Step 2, cut the designs. Once your design is uploaded to Cricut Design Space, take a look at your felt and select pieces of felt that match the colors in my design or are just the colors that you want to use. You can also change the colors of the design objects to match your colors of felt. For example, let's say you wanted to make the teal colored bow a different color. Select the layer for the bow in the Layers panel on the right side of the Cricut Design Space canvas. And then in the menu at the top left, under Operation, you will see a teal square next to Basic Cut. Click on the square to select a different color. I'm going to keep my colors as they are in my design. But that's really it. Everything is ready to cut. See, I told you it wouldn't be as hard as it looks. So click Make It in the upper right corner of the screen. If you're using a Maker 3 or Explorer 3, you will see a screen asking you how you want to load your materials for this project. Select On Mat and click Done to continue. The Prepare screen shows that I have 20 mats to cut. I know that's a lot, but there's a lot of colors here, right? So to help you in preparing your felt for cutting, I've included the color and measurements to cut your felt for each of these mats. You certainly can use larger pieces of felt if you want. I've included this sheet as a printable PDF and you can find it in a zip file. Just double-click it to download and print. So use a ruler and scissors or a rotary cutter on a self-healing mat to measure your felt and cut each piece to the specifications you need. If you're using an Explore series machine, you will want to cut freezer paper the same size as the felt piece for each mat. You may even want to use freezer paper if you have a Cricut Maker because it will help keep your mat clean. So to apply the freezer paper to the felt, place a piece of felt on your heating mat and place the freezer paper on top of the felt. Make sure the shiny side of the freezer paper is against the felt and the dull side is facing up. The shiny side has a plastic coating on it which will adhere to the felt when it's heated. Get out an easy press or an iron and set the temperature to 300 degrees and the timer to 10 seconds. Then start the timer. If your easy press does not cover the entire piece of felt, move your easy press around the surface of the freezer paper to adhere it. Repeat this process to add freezer paper to each piece of felt that you're going to cut. When you have finished preparing all of your felt pieces, go back to Cricut Design Space and click Continue in the lower right corner of the Prepare screen. And then to select our base material, click on Browse All Materials and type Felt in the search bar. Select Felt Wool Bonded for the Explorer series of machines and Felt Acrylic Fabric for the Maker series of machines and then click Done. For pressure, I suggest that you select More and then check the box underneath to remember material settings. Just be aware you'll only see this box if you're on a Maker 3 and Explorer 3 machine. Now load your fine point blade into your Cricut if you're using the Explorer series of machines. If you're using a Maker, you'll want to insert your rotary blade into clamp B instead. I'll be alternating between both machines for my cuts to show you the difference. Now place your piece of felt for mat 1 onto a purple strong grip machine mat and use a brayer to secure that felt to the mat. Now before we load the mat into the machine, we need to move the 4 white star wheels to the far right. These wheels will help keep materials from shifting during cutting. However, when working with thicker materials like felt, they can leave track marks in the felt, so we want to move them out of the way. So here's how you do it. If the carriage is in the way, power off your machine and then gently move the carriage to either side until you have enough room to maneuver the star wheels. Then grasp a star wheel and use gentle pressure to move it toward the large rubber rollers on the right side of the roller bar. And then just repeat for each wheel. Now load your machine mat into your cutting machine and press the flashing button to begin cutting. When your mat has finished cutting, press the unload button to remove it from your machine. And then to remove the felt from the mat, you can turn the mat over and bend it slightly to release the felt and the freezer paper. Now some of the freezer paper might not want to come off so easy if the mat is new because it's really sticky. If this happens, tweezers, a spatula tool, and a scraper tool are all very helpful in removing small pieces of the freezer paper from the mat. So continue cutting the remaining pieces of felt. It takes approximately 2 hours to cut all 20 mats. I have included a Happy Holidays greeting for the bottom of your felt Christmas tree advent calendar, but you can always create your own message. Now upload the SVG the same way that you uploaded the felt Christmas tree advent calendar file. This is what my SVG looks like in Design Space. There are 2 versions of Happy Holidays. The top version is designed for a 12 by 24 inch standard grip machine mat or smart vinyl. The bottom version can be cut on a 12 by 12 inch standard grip machine mat. Happy and Holidays will cut on separate mats. So first click on a group at the top of the Layers panel. And next, hide or delete the version that you're not using by selecting on the canvas and clicking delete. I'm using Smart Iron-On Vinyl, which doesn't need any mat at all in the Explore 3 or the Maker 3, so I'm just deleting the bottom group. When you're ready, click Make It. If you're using a Maker 3 or Explore 3, you will see this screen asking you how you want to load your materials for the project. I'm using black glitter Smart Iron-On, so I select Without Mat and then click Done. Review the artwork on the Prepare screen. Be sure to turn on Mirror. If you don't mirror the design, the text will be backwards when you go to apply it to your felt. So we always mirror iron-on vinyl. So click Continue in the lower right corner of the screen, and then select Smart Iron-On Vinyl for your base material. If you're using another material, you'll want to click on Browse All Materials in the upper right corner, and then look for the material that you're going to use, just like we did when we were looking for felt. When you're ready, load your fine point blade into clamp B on your machine. Load your material into your cutting machine. If you're not using Smart Iron-On, you'll want to put your iron-on vinyl on a green standard grip machine mat. And you want it to be pretty or shiny side up, and then you'll load your mat into your machine and press the blinking button to begin cutting. When your design has finished cutting, and if you're using a Cricut roll holder, which is totally optional, you can use the slicer on the tray to cut the vinyl and then just remove the tray. So press the unload button to remove the vinyl from your machine. Grab your weeding tool and begin weeding the design. Be sure to weed out all the little bits inside the letters too. It took me about 10 minutes to cut and weed the design. When you're all done, set it aside and we'll add this part in later. Step 3. Assemble your tree. You will need one piece of felt for the background. This is the fabric that we will attach the tree to so that we can hang it on the wall. So take the yard of fabric and place the selvage edges toward you and the center fold of the fabric at the top. The selvage means the nice cut straight sides. Make sure the felt is flat and there are no creases. Fold 11 inches of the left side of the fabric over onto itself and make sure the top center fold aligns. Measure 10 inches horizontally from the edge of the left fold and mark the fabric using a fabric marker. Continue measuring 10-inch marks from the left fold down the length of the felt. Now place a yardstick or a ruler on the fabric and connect the 10-inch marks, making a vertical line down the fabric with your fabric marker. And then with a pair of scissors, cut the fabric on the vertical line. I highly recommend that you do this with a nice pair of fabric shears. All-purpose scissors were meant to cut through paper, but fabric scissors are designed to cut through fabric, and they will give you a precise, clean, straight cut. Don't use your fabric scissors to cut paper, as it will dull the blade faster. Measure and mark 19 inches down from the center fold at the top of the felt in several places. Take your ruler and make a horizontal line connecting the 19-inch marks. Use your fabric scissors and cut along the 19-inch line. Now open your piece of felt and lay it flat. You should have a piece that measures 20 by 38 inches. From the bottom of the felt, use your ruler and mark a 10-inch point in the center and on the right and left edges. Now fold the bottom edge of the felt up so it lines to the 3 marks you made. Pin the fabric in place in the center and on each side. This is the pocket that will hold all of our felt ornament pieces. Use a ruler to double check the folded pocket has the same height measurement and adjust if necessary. Now get the felt pieces that make up your Christmas tree, including the tree trunk and some straight pins. There are a total of 17 pieces. From top to bottom, the first 4 layers are individual pieces. The bottom 4 layers consist of 3 pieces. Place the pieces for the first 4 layers in a stack from smallest to largest, and sort the middle pieces for the bottom 4 layers smallest to largest too. Next, match the left and right sides of the 4 layers by aligning the top and sort those from smallest to largest. I found it easiest to assemble the tree from bottom to top. From the bottom of the felt at center, make the following measurement marks using a fabric marker. I have them all noted here on the screen because that's just a lot easier than me rattling off a lot of numbers. So if you're just listening to this, pause and take a look at the screen. These marks represent the placement for the top side of the trunk piece and the pieces for each of the 8 rows that make up the trunk. Take the trunk piece and align it center on the felt with the top at the 8 3/4 mark and pin the piece in place in the middle using a straight pin. Take the middle piece for the bottom row of the trunk, align it in the center, and place the top at the 12-inch mark. The left side piece for the bottom row should align with the top of the middle piece, and the right side of the left piece should overlap the middle piece about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and then pin the piece in place. Now place the right side piece for the bottom row so that the top aligns with the middle piece. Overlap the left side with the middle piece about 1/8 to 1/4 inch, and then pin the piece in place too. And then pull the middle piece so it's in the front of the left and right side pieces. Repeat these same steps to place the next 3 rows. And now is a great time to look at the placement of your rows and take some measurements from the edges of the felt to the edge of the tree pieces to make sure everything is centered the way you want. All right, so take the largest of the 4 tree pieces left and align it center with the top of the piece at 21 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the felt background. Place the next 3 pieces, largest to smallest, and align them center with the top of the pieces at 23.5 inches, 25 inches, and 26.25 inches. Lay the felt down in a spot where it can sit for 3 to 4 hours. We're going to begin gluing the tree pieces in place, and you don't want to move your project around because you want the glue to have time to dry in place. So beginning with the first row, add plenty of glue to the back side top third of the piece and press it firmly to the background felt. Continue adding lots of glue to the top third of each piece for each row of the tree. When you get to the trunk of the tree, add glue to the top, sides, and bottom. Add plenty of glue on the left and right sides of the pocket. Add a line of glue in the middle part of the pocket as well. Press all the pieces firmly once more and then remove the straight pins from each piece. Leave your project for 3 to 4 hours so the glue has some time to dry. Step 4. Assemble your ornaments. The ornaments are easy and fun to put together. Here's what each ornament looks like when it's assembled. Aren't they super cute? I recommend sorting the felt pieces into piles for each ornament and then begin gluing them together. After all of your ornaments have been assembled, carefully add the rough side of the hook and loop dot to the back side of each ornament. And then set the ornaments aside for 3 to 4 hours to allow time for their glue to dry as well. Step 5. Add the hanger and the ribbon. Now that the glue on the tree has dried, let's add the dowel and ribbon to hang our Christmas tree advent calendar up on a wall. First, we're going to make an opening for the dowel to slide through. So measure and mark 3 inches from the top of the felt background in several places across the top. Then measure and mark 1.5 inches from the top of the felt background in several places across the top. Turn your felt Christmas tree advent calendar over, fold back the felt to 1.5 inch marks that we just made in the front. Add straight pins in the center and at both sides to hold the fold. Add hot glue to the section that we just pinned and be careful to protect your fingers, the glue is hot. And fold the hot glue to the back of the felt. As you fold it under, you will see that the top of the felt is at the 3-inch mark that we made. Now take your wooden dowel and measure from one end to 21.5 inches. Place a mark on the dowel. This is where we will cut the dowel. You'll use a hacksaw or whatever you have to cut the dowel at the line marked. Now measure out 30 inches of grosgrain ribbon and cut. Add a dab of glue to one end of the ribbon and glue it to one end of the dowel. Place one of the dowel's end caps over the end of the dowel and the ribbon. It will be a snug fit. If you're having any trouble putting it on, pound the end with a dowel cap on a soft surface, like carpet, to secure it. You can also use a mallet if you have one handy. Do not use a hammer, as this will leave dents in your dowel cap. Now insert the dowel into the slot that we just made at the top of the felt. Run the grosgrain ribbon across the top of the dowel so it's flat, and add a dot of hot glue at the end of the ribbon and glue it to the end of the dowel. Add a dowel cap to the other end of this dowel. If you'd like, you can paint or stain your dowel and dowel end caps as well, but make sure that you do this ahead of time so they have time to dry. You can also add a big fluffy bow to the top of the ribbon. This adds a beautiful accent and also hides any hook that you use to hang up your felt Christmas tree advent calendar. Now, bows can be tricky, but using wired ribbon really helps make great bows. Let me show you how to make a simple bow with wired ribbon and floral wire. Start by pulling a piece of the ribbon out and roll the end of the ribbon into a circular shape like this. This will be the center of your bow. From there, twist the ribbon behind the circle you made and loop out the ribbon a bit larger than your circle to make one side of your bow. Pull the ribbon to the other side, twist it again behind the circle, make another loop about the same size on the opposite side of that first one, and hold it behind the center circle. We have the start of the bow. Now twist the ribbon in the back and make a larger loop on the other side. Pull the attached end back across to the other side and again twist it in the middle and make another loop about the same size as your last. Continue twisting and looping the ribbon with ever-increasing sizes for each set of 2 loops. You can add as many loops as you want. I went with 4 loops on each side of my bow. When you're happy with how it looks, get a piece of floral wire about 8 inches and feed it through the center circle of your bow. Now twist it tightly behind the bow to hold all of the parts together. This will leave a tail of ribbon hanging down from the bottom of the bow. To add a matching tail on the other side, feed a piece of ribbon up through the center loop of your ribbon and use floral wire that's already there and wrapped around your bow to secure that second tail in place. Now just fluff up your ribbon and cut the tails at an angle at whatever length you desire. You can use the floral wire that's wrapped around the bow to attach it to your project, or just snip off the end of the wire and hot glue your bow into place. Step 6. Add iron-on vinyl. The final step in the assembly of the felt Christmas tree advent calendar is to apply a festive greeting to the front of the ornament pockets. So if you want to do this, heat your Cricut Easy Press to 270 degrees and set the timer for 30 seconds. And then use a lint roller to clean the felt pocket and preheat the felt for 5 seconds. Center and place your iron-on vinyl onto the felt. I like to fold the vinyl in half so that the left and right ends touch, and then press a crease in the liner sheet, and that helps me identify the center. And then I fold the pocket part of the felt in half and finger crease it to identify its center. And then I place the iron-on vinyl onto the felt and center it. So I just line up all of my creases. And then I'll heat the design for 30 seconds, and I'll have to do this in parts because I don't have a heat press that's big enough to cover the whole thing. Once the iron-on vinyl is cool to the touch, you can peel off the liner. And now we can put all of our adorable ornaments into the pockets. You are now ready to count down to Christmas. Beginning December 1st, take any ornament from one of your pockets and add it to your tree. I guess I'll put this one here. Now, I mentioned earlier that I always like to save one special ornament to add to the tree on Christmas Eve. Can you guess which one it is? It is the star. It goes right up there at the top. You can, of course, add them in any order you want. It is so fun to see the tree come together as the days to Christmas draw near. Remember, you can totally personalize this Christmas tree advent calendar simply by changing the colors. Notice how different this one with the natural felt background looks compared to this one with the green background. There's really a lot of difference. So you should match it to what you like or your home. Now, if you have any questions about making this beautiful felt Christmas tree advent calendar that I didn't answer here, or anything else craft related that I might be able to help you with, let me know and leave your question below this video or ask over at our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters. I love to help and see you succeed. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.